Our speaker today has been working with students for nearly a decade. He's delivered hundreds of presentations to over 250,000 students in over 42 different states. He's the author of the student book Reality Check and is passionate about helping students prepare for life after high school. And as much as he loves speaking, his favorite roles are by far being a father and a husband. Today, he travels around the country speaking to thousands of students in conferences, conventions, school assemblies, and other youth events. But ultimately, he wants to grow to be like Chuck Norris. Please welcome Mr. Grant Baldwin.
What up, what up, what up? How you guys doing today? Yes. All right, let's do this. If you can hear me, clap once. Can you hear me, clap twice? So my name's Grant, and I have a really cool job because basically I get to travel around the country, I get to hang out with students, and I get paid to run my mouth. Some of you would be really good at my job. How many of you are like, yes, dude, I would love to get paid to talk? Let's be honest though, Some of you are slightly lazy. You're like, I would love to get paid to breathe. How many of you that is you? Oh, your mom is crying right now. Now, part of what I enjoy so much about what I get to do is I miss being a teenager. I'll tell you a quick story. I remember one night when I was in high school, I remember some friends and I decided that we were going to go out late. Much later than we should have been out. And we were going to go over to another friend's house where, let's just say we were going to decorate their yard. But it was one of those things we didn't want them to know about because we were using a common household product known as... Yeah. How many of you have done this before? You're like, don't tell my mom. Now, how many of you know, like when you go buy the decorations, it's a very like socially awkward experience, right? Because it's me and like 2 or 3 dudes at Walmart at 3 in the morning with like the 96 roll family economy value pack. And they always put the toilet paper at the back of the store so you have to pick it up and walk by everybody else. You're like, hi. Everybody's staring at us like, do those guys ever leave the bathroom? So we get up to the register, we set it down, and as you might imagine, the cashier has a few questions for us. So the cashier is like, so, what are you boys up to tonight? How many of you know, like when guys don't know what to say, we're just kind of like, So finally, one of my buddies who's standing there, he's not thinking at all. He speaks up and he's like, we ate too much Taco Bell. They're like, that's great. Please leave our store immediately. We have a cleanup on aisle 4 here. So we take these decorations, we go over to this friend's house, we start decorating the house. The house looks ridiculously awesome. It was kind of one of those rainy, dreary nights where the decorations are like sticking to everything. It gets worse. It was really windy out, so the decorations are being shared with the entire neighborhood. Yeah, it's a really good way to do it. Basically, you do one house, get the whole neighborhood for free. So we finish up, we're all like high-fiving each other, and we all head home. Now, sometime between whenever I left their house and whenever I got home, the individual whose house we had decorated calls my mom. Ooh, that's not funny, shut up. Now, how many of you, your mom has ever got a call about something stupid you have done before? Oh, have you noticed when she gets these calls, she's kind of cranky? Right? And so what would typically happen is whenever I was coming home, I would come in the front door, I'd go through the living room, I'd go over to my mom's room, I was like, hey mom, I'm home, and then I would go downstairs to my room. But on this night, after my mom got this call, she decided she was going to sit in the middle of the living room, in the pitch black, and wait for me. Wasn't that sweet of her? How many of you have ever seen Animal Planet or Discovery Channel? You've seen the lion stalking the gazelle at night? Kind of get that image in your mind there, because that's about what's going to go down. And like, if you notice, it never ends well for the gazelle. So you can just imagine my bloody carcass lying all over the living room floor there. So I come home, and I open up the front door, and I'm walking through the living room, and all of a sudden, there's this voice that they swear it was demon possessed. It just calls out from the darkness. It's like, where have you been, boy? I was like, hey, Mom, come here, hold me. I love you. I was just thinking about how cool you are. Hashtag blessed. So my mom said that the neighbor called would like for me to go back and clean up the decorations that I left behind. So I learned 2 valuable lessons that night. Number 1, nothing good happens after dark. Don't ever forget that. Some of you are like, that's good, I'm gonna write that down. And the second lesson I learned is there's a lot of ways to make a difference in the life of someone else, but decorating someone's house in the middle of the night may not be the best way to do that. And I think ultimately, every single one of us that we want to make some type of difference. We want to make some type of impact. We want to do something significant with our lives. I mean, think really like that's kind of why we're a part of an organization like 4-H. That's why we come to something like Congress, is because I think we all feel like deep down, listen, if I've got one shot on this planet, I want to feel like my life mattered. I want to feel like I made some type of difference. And so here's what I want to do in the time that we've got together. I want to just give you 2 simple things that you can do to be a difference maker. 2 simple things as we kind of wrap up this conference, all right? First thought is this. Let me hear you say number 1. Number 1. Number 1 is that difference makers see more than a problem. Difference makers see more than a problem. Listen, we all understand there's a lot of problems that exist in the world. Like whenever you're hanging out with people, whenever you are reading the news, whenever you're watching the news, like it's clear that there are problems that exist in the world. But a difference maker, they don't see a problem, they see something else. They see an opportunity, a chance to actually do something about it. See, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like the difference between hearing and listening. We're all really good at hearing things. Just me talking, we can all hear that. But like, let me ask you this: How many of you have ever done something dumb before? Have you done? Okay, good. All right, put your hand down. How many of you have done something dumb today? So we're like, it's been a very productive morning. I've been, a very. Let me ask you this: How many of you have ever done something dumb and you've had mom or dad lecturing you about the dumb thing that you've done? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Put your hand down. Let me ask you this: How many of you have ever had mom or dad lecturing you and like you're hearing what they're saying, but you're not really listening to what is being said? So like you're kind of staring at them blankly. You're like, But like there's no connection upstairs. How many of you have ever done this before? Now how many of you have noticed mom and dad are smarter than we give them credit for? And so they can tell whenever this selective hearing disease hits you. And so they know in order to bust you, all they have to do is ask you one question. And it's that one question that causes children, teenagers, and husbands everywhere to squirm. The question is, what did I just say? Some of you are like, I just got goosebumps. How many of you have ever had mom or dad say, what did I just say? How many of you have ever had mom or dad say, what did I just say? And you're kind of like, I don't know. Probably something about me being grounded. I'm just going to ground myself. 2 weeks? Deal, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I had the opportunity recently to like turn the tables and use one of these cliche parenting lines on my own mother. I wouldn't recommend this. But here's what happened. So my mom came over to our house. My wife and I were watching like TV or a movie or something, and my mom thought the volume was too loud. So my mom's like, honey, that's too loud. You should turn that down. So I said, Mom, as long as you're under my roof. Oh, what's up now, sucker? She looked at me like, I will literally kill you right now. Yes, ma'am, I will turn that down. And the difference between hearing and listening is the same difference between seeing a problem and seeing an opportunity. See, every single day that we live life, every single day that we're at school, we're in our communities, we're with our friends, we are all a part of a masquerade. Where so many of us, we walk around with these masks, with these disguises, with these fronts, where we pretend like life is good, even if it isn't. Like, let's be honest for a second. How many of you have ever been having just like a cruddy, crappy day? Maybe you got in an argument with mom or dad. Maybe you just flunked a test. Maybe you got some bad news. Maybe you broke up with a boyfriend, girlfriend. Like something happened on the inside. You're upset, or you're sad, or you're confused, or you're disappointed, or you're angry. But on the outside, you don't want anyone to know. And so you put on a smile. You put on a mask. How many of you have done that before? We've all done that. We've all pretended like life is good, even if it isn't. And so here's one of the things I want you to catch today is this. Is that just because someone has a smile on their face doesn't mean their life is okay. Now at the same time, just because someone has a smile on their face doesn't mean their life is falling apart. Don't go around stalking people. That's not cool. Don't walk up to someone and be like, oh, you're smiling, aren't you? It's okay. You're probably miserable on the inside. It's okay. Come here, let's hold hands. We'll listen to some Adele. We'll cry together. Like, you're weird. We're not friends anymore. But part of being a difference maker, part of being a leader, part of being involved with an organization like 4-H means that I take the time to see past the mask. That I ask people, hey, how are you really doing? I want you to know if you ever need anything, I've got your back. I remember a couple years ago, I was speaking at a school assembly in Missouri. And I got to the school, and there's two brothers that were sitting there in the office. And so I walk up to these guys, I introduce myself, and turns out they had just enrolled in this school. This was their first day at a brand new high school. And so I'm just making conversation with them, asking them what brought them to this new school. And so the older brother told me this. He said, just a couple days before, we were doing this assembly on a Monday morning, on the previous Friday, right after school, their mom said, hey, pack up a couple things. We're going to go visit your aunt's house for the weekend. And so they pack up a couple odds and ends, not really thinking anything of it. And they drive about 5 hours from their house to their aunt's house. And about halfway there, their mom told them that she was actually leaving their father. She was filing for divorce. They were moving out. They were moving in with their aunt. They were starting a new school on Monday. And they were never going back to their home again. So these guys tell me this. And I felt the way that some of you feel right now. I felt sad. I felt shocked. I just felt hurt for them. But like the crazy thing to me, the thing that really stood out to me was this, is that when I met both of these guys, they both had a smile on their face. Like me looking at them from the outside looking in, it looked like life was good. But tell me, do you think life was good? Probably not. Like it made me wonder. I wonder like how many times that week did they start walking around their new high school and did other students see them and thought, oh, they're smiling, they're fine. Oh, they got a smile on their face, they'll be okay. Oh, they'll find their new class, they'll meet some new friends, they'll find someone to sit by at lunch. Did anybody take the time to see past the mask and find out how life was really going for them? You know, one of the things I love so much about what I get to do is I get to travel all over the U.S. I get to speak to tens of thousands of people a year. I meet so many different students, and students tell me some of the most heartbreaking stories. Like I remember I was speaking in North Dakota recently, and there's a guy who came up to me in the parking lot. And he said, hey, I just moved to this school. I don't really know anybody, but everybody's picking on me. Everybody's bullying me. People are knocking my books out of my hands. People are pushing me. People are making fun of me. He's like, I smile, I laugh, I play along, but he's like, inside I'm dying here. I'm dealing with depression, I'm dealing with suicidal thoughts. I've run away from my home a few times. It's like, this sucks. I don't want to be here anymore. I remember speaking at a high school in Texas, and there's a guy who came up to me. He said, almost every day that I go home from school, my older brother, he ties me to a chair and he beats me up. And I haven't told anybody. There's a girl I met in Nevada a couple years ago. She came up to me and she said, I'm student body president. I'm one of the more popular kids in my school, big high school. Everybody knows who I am. Everybody thinks my life is great. Nobody has any idea what my life is really like. She said, every day that I go home from school, my dad is dealing with this mental illness, and it's destroying our family. She's like, I hate going home, but nobody has any idea. My best friend doesn't know what's going on in my life. The student I met just a couple months ago, actually, up in New Hampshire, who said, like, right before coming to this conference, they just found out that his dad had been having an affair. It's like, I looked up to my dad. That was my hero. There's a girl I met in California just a couple weeks ago. She said, literally, like, right before coming to the conference, I found out my parents are getting a divorce. And listen, I don't say these things to bum you out or to make you feel sad or depressed, but just to help you realize, listen, if you knew what was going on in the lives of students that you sit by in class, the students that you ride a bus with, the students that you pass in the hall, students that are sitting by themselves at lunch, if you knew what was going on just in the lives of people in this room, you'd be shocked. You'd probably look at people different. You'd probably treat people different. And so part of being a difference maker means that you look past the mask. That you ask people, hey, how are you really doing? Hey, I want you to know if you need anything, if you just want to talk, if you want to cry, if you just want to hug. I'm like Olaf, I give warm hugs. Like that's part of being a leader. That's part of being a difference maker. That's part of being a part of 4-H. So first thought is that difference makers see more than a problem. We look past a mask. Second thought is this. Let me hear you say number 2. Number 2. Second thing is that difference makers, we start small. Difference makers, we start small. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes like when I think about difference makers throughout history, I think about people like a Martin Luther King, or a Mother Teresa, a Rosa Parks, a Princess Diana, an Abraham Lincoln, a Miley Cyrus. Hashtag poor life decisions. Like I think about someone like a Martin Luther King, and I'm like, man, our world is forever changed because of the way that he lived his life. But realize, like, he didn't change the world overnight, that he started small. He started right where he was at. And oftentimes, the biggest difference that you and I can make in the world is through something small, through something that may mean nothing to us, but it may mean everything to someone else. I remember when I was in high school, my senior year of high school. How many of you are going to be seniors? Any seniors here? Seniors here? Are you awake, seniors? She's like, I think I'm a senior. Am I a senior? Oh, never mind. I don't know. It's okay. It's summer. I remember senior year of high school, I had this mentor in my life, and I was talking to one day, and I was like, man, it's my senior year. I really want to do something big. I really want to make some type of difference. I really want to do something huge. And he said, you know what you ought to do? Like, if you really want to make a difference in the school, here's a simple idea. Sometime at lunch, you ought to find someone that doesn't know anyone and offer to sit by them. I was like, that's it? Like, that's your big idea? Like, that's adorable, but like, I'm looking for something huge. He goes, no, just start small. Start right where you're at. And so I remember the day I was going to try this. I remember I was like, all right, I'll play along. I'll try this out. So I remember I'm in the cafeteria, and I go through the line. I've got my tray. I've got my mystery meat there. And I don't act like you know what they're feeding you. So we're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. So I head out into the cafeteria there. It's this feeding frenzy, just like there's all these tables here, right? And off to one side, I saw this group of tables where my friends and I normally sat. And then off the other side, I saw this one dude who was sitting by himself. I was like, all right, let's give this a shot. And so I walk up to this guy and I sit down, and it wasn't like I was like, hey, dude, this guy said I'm supposed to find loners, well not loners, I'm supposed to find losers, well not losers, I'm supposed to find people like you, hi. Like, he didn't say that. I wouldn't recommend saying that. I just walked up and said, hey, my name's Grant, what's your name, do you mind if I have lunch with you? And so we sit down, we have lunch together, and I'll be honest with you, I don't remember his name, I don't even remember what we talked about. But I just remember like 20, 25, 30 minutes goes by, bell rings, we both head off to class. And I remember thinking like, listen, I don't know what was supposed to happen, but whatever was supposed to happen didn't happen. Because it wasn't like I sat down and he was like, oh, you're here to change my life. It wasn't like that. Like, we're two teenage dudes, like we just grunted at each other, I think. So we head off to class, and I remember thinking, like, that didn't work. Like, that was a dumb idea. That was lame. Like, I want to do something big, and you have me just sitting by some random kid in the cafeteria. So I remember a couple weeks go by, and I'm at a local burger place with my family. And this kid walks in, and he sees where I'm sitting, and he walks up to our table, and he said, hey, I want you to know a couple weeks ago when you sat by me, that really meant a lot. I really appreciated that. And it took me a second. I was kind of like, what? Right, smiling at people, like learning people's names, all right, complimenting, and like genuine compliment, all right? Dudes, this isn't an opportunity for you to go up to the girl of your dreams and be like, girl? Don't do that. It's not a genuine compliment, all right? Here's another idea, all right? Simple things, like whenever you go home, all right, tonight or tomorrow, like telling your parents that you appreciate them, giving your mom a hug, all right, helping your mom do the dishes or make dinner, like those little things. You go home, like if you went home and you're like, hey mom, tell you what, I'm gonna make dinner tonight, don't even worry about it, it's on me. Your mom would be like, who are you? What have you done with my child? Did you sell your sister on eBay again? Stop doing that. I'd be like, I really like that idea. I'll give another simple idea, all right? All your advisors who came with you here, I'm going to just give you a fun fact about them. They don't want me to tell you this, I'm going to tell you anyway. You want to hear it? Yeah. All right, I'm going to spill the beans here. Okay, here's the deal. 97% of the time, they really like you. Yes. But there's that 3% where they want to punch you. They don't want me to tell you that, but it's true. They really like you, but I'm just gonna tell you right now, again, like them bringing you in a van for like 5 hours to be here is not their idea of a vacation. They like you, but then there's times where they're like, if I just pull over and kick them all out of the vehicle and drive away, how much time would that cost me in jail? That may be worth it. So little things like just telling them that you appreciate them, telling them that you value what it is that they do. Because again, they really like you. But then there's the something small, so something that may mean nothing to you, it may mean everything to them. I'll give you one final story here. I remember a couple years ago, I went with my family to Disney World. How many of you have been to Disney World before? Magic Kingdom? Yeah? Sweet. Actually, let me tell you about my family. I'm actually married to my high school sweetheart. Oh, I know. So precious. Check this out, it gets better. When we started dating, I was a freshman, she was a junior. Oh, what's up now, huh? Hashtag baller. So we dated for a while, we got married, and then she couldn't keep her hands off me, and now we have 3 little girls. That's the way it works, that's all you need to know about that. So we have 3 little girls. So it's me and a house full of women. It is awesome. I love it. It's like our own little Barbie dream house. I absolutely love it. So a couple years ago, we were going to go to the Magic Kingdom. And actually, I'd never been to the Magic Kingdom. This is my first time there. My daughters had never been. My wife had never been. And actually, we decided to bring my mom with us as well. My mom had never been to the Magic Kingdom either. So we get to the Magic Kingdom. We're all walking around having a good time. And I'm walking along with my mom. And I'm like, Mom, this is so cool. Oh, Mom, check it out. It's the teacups. Oh, man, that's so cool. The teacups, Mom. Mom, do you remember when I was little and you and me went on the teacups together? You don't remember that? That's because you didn't bring me here, Mom. The happiest place on earth, and I didn't get to come here as a kid. I was very bitter that I didn't say that to my mom. So before we go to the Magic Kingdom, my wife said, hey, all the little girls are going to dress up like princesses. I was like, what? Like, we're gonna be that family? Like, anytime you see kids dressed up on any day other than Halloween, I'm like, I just want to smack the parents. I'm like, they're not your little show dogs or something. But my wife was like, no, I promise there will be other little princesses there. And I was like, all right, I'll play along. So the girls get all dressed up, we go to the Magic Kingdom, we start walking around the Magic Kingdom. Something very interesting happened that day. Everywhere we went around the Magic Kingdom, all of the employees, or the cast members as they're known, they would stop what they were doing, they would go out of their way, they would greet my daughter, and they would call them Princess. And so they would say things like, welcome to the Magic Kingdom, Princess. Princess, you look beautiful today. Princess, I love your dress. This happened all day long. Like all of them, like ride operators, gift shop people, like performers, like to the point like they would start to walk up to one of my girls and I'd be like, yeah, Princess, we got it, thanks. Just kept happening. So we've been there all day long, had a great day at the Magic Kingdom. We're headed back out to the parking lot, and we're headed back out, walking kind of down that main street there. You know that main street, right? So we're walking along there, and I'm walking along with my oldest daughter, Sydney. And Sydney would have been like 5 or 6 or so at the time, and so Sid and I were walking along, holding hands, having this sweet little daddy-daughter moment. And I'm like, Sid, you just look great today, and this has just been such a fun day, and I love you so much. And so we're walking along, having this moment, and Sydney looks up at me, and she says, Daddy, I think they really believe that I'm a Disney princess. I was like, I'm starting to wonder if you actually are. This place is really freaking magical. How do they do it? So check this out. Here's the point of the story, all right? If one person calls my daughter princess, it's cute, but I wouldn't tell you about it. But when enough people say something to the point that by the end of the day, my daughter is literally questioning whether she's been transformed into a Disney princess, it's made a difference. So listen, whenever we leave here and we all head back to our communities or counties or schools, if one of us is nice to someone else, if one of us is kind to someone else, if one of us is caring or compassionate, that's great. But like if we all do it, like what kind of difference could we make in this state? Like here's one of my dreams. Here's one of the things I would love this. I would love this. I would love if maybe there's some new kid who came to your school and they go home after the first day or so and they're talking with mom and they're like, Mom, how's school? Are you liking it? Are you fitting in? Are you meeting some friends? I'd love it if that new student's like, Mom, I love it here. Like this is a great school. Like people are kind to me. People want to sit by me at lunch. People are showing me to class. Everybody keeps calling me princess. That's a little weird. I'm not really sure what to think about that. Just something small, something simple, through something that may mean nothing to you, but may mean everything to someone else. And so in order to do that, you've got to look past the mask. You've got to see not a problem, but an opportunity, a chance to actually make some type of impact. Hey, before we wrap up, how many of you are on Facebook, TwitFace, Insta Soccer, anything like that? Oh, you're all on that. Great. Okay. It's a new thing I just made up. Hey, if you want, you're more than welcome to follow me online on Facebook or Twitter or InstaFace or what are those things are called. And when we're done here in a few minutes, if you want to take a selfie together and you can show your mom, Mom, this is the speaker. I think he had ADD. Okay. So you can, hey, something shiny. Sorry. Okay. All right. So we'll be like, what? So anyway, you can catch me afterwards if you want. Hey, one final thing, okay? I want you to answer a simple two-word question. I want you to answer the question, now what? Because here's the thing, if we come in here, we have a good time, we laugh, we enjoy ourselves. Have you guys had a good time today? How many of you laughed a little bit? How many of you laughed a lot? How many of you laughed so hard you peed a little? Some of you are like, yeah! No! I'm fine. Hashtag dry. Hey, nothing wrong at all with coming in here, laughing, having a good time, and enjoying ourselves. But listen, if we leave here, we go back to our communities, we go back to our counties, we go back to our schools, we go back to our families, we go back to life, and we don't do anything different, we've kind of wasted our time here. So how are you going to live your life different? How are you going to be difference makers? Hey, thank you guys so much for letting me hang out with you. You guys are super awesome. Hope you guys have a great rest of the year. Peace.